This model of the 86 series is in TT gauge and comes from the so-called VEB Berliner TT-Bahn company in the eastern part of Germany. It is a tank locomotive with many details to recognize. Lightning on both ends, a single alternator, the bell and the flaps. All 4 coupled wheel sets are driven. The total length over the buffers is 112.5 millimeters. Regarding the original, a total of 775 Class 86 locomotives were built between the years 1928 and 1943. Some sources speak even of 776 locos. More were actually planned, but were not made due to the Second World War. It was a so-called standard freight tender locomotive. They were used by the Deutsche Reichsbahn on branch lines. Due to the large number of locomotives in this series, there were numerous manufacturing companies, the so-called Linke Hoffmann-Werke, the Maschinenfabrik Esslingen, as well as Henschel und Sohn and further companies. With a length over the buffers of 13,820 millimeters, so almost 14 meters, and a service weight of 88.5 tons, they reached top speeds of between 70 and 80 kilometers per hour. They were first used both in the lowlands as well as in the mountains. However, after the end of the Second World War, they were mostly used exclusively in low mountain ranges. Going back to their origin, in order to standardize the vehicle fleet and also to take advantage of new developments, new tank locomotives were designed from 1925 onwards. In addition to this Class 86, further results were the Class 24 and the Class 64. However, the first locomotives of the Class 86 were delivered in 1928. Over the years, there have been more or less major structural changes. For example, the steering racks were modified, which increased the maximum speed from 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. Further changes were made during the Second World War. The second window, for example, on the driver's cab was omitted, as were the running wheels designed as disc wheels. And yes, the locomotive numbers were also only painted on simply for reasons of saving money. But production was completely stopped before the end of the Second World War. Since this series was not used in warfare itself, almost all locomotives were preserved and were located in the western and eastern zones of occupation, as well as in Austria, Poland and Czechoslovakia. However, the Soviet Union confiscated numerous locos. In detail, 380 locomotives ended up in the western part of Germany. Most of them were stationed in the city of Nuremberg. With the modernization of the vehicle fleet, all 380 locomotives were gradually retired between the years 1965 and 1974. Another 173 locomotives were owned by the Deutsche Reichsbahn in the eastern part. Most of them were located in the city of Aue, but some also on Usedom. In the GDR, decommissioning began only in the year 1973. Today, 13 locomotives of this series have actually been preserved. In particular, the oldest locomotive of this series, yes, the number 86-1, is located in the Saxon Railway Museum in the city of Chemnitz. In contrast to this locomotive, 2 further ones are still operational today and are owned by the railway construction and operating company Pressnitztalbahn.